Right, so what is line of sight? Line of sight determines what models of yours can see what models of the enemies for shooting purposes. Okay, so I've got a little scenario set up down here. I'm going to bring you down and run you through the scenario and try and explain, you know, line of sight. Now, this questions arose from a few people asking me, how does it work? A few other people have asked me, you know, I've looked at this battle report and I was looking at that, you know, this vehicle, or I was looking at this unit shooting, you know, one of your units, and I couldn't understand how they got line of sight to them. So I'm going to explain that today, okay, hopefully. So if you're new to the channel, hit the subscribe button because it costs you nothing. Turn your notifications on, don't miss anything. Everyone smash the thumbs up button so it triggers YouTube shares if you have more people, which makes this amazing community you guys grow even more. If you want to support the channel even further, there is a join button below. Then you can click on that and become a member. And I appreciate everyone that becomes a member. So anyway, I'm going to bring you down and show you the scenario. Right, so here is the scenario. Okay. So we have a unit of Terminators led by a librarian. We have a unit of scouts. We have a Chaos Hellbrute. And we have a unit of Chaos Terminators. Okay, with a few pieces of terrain either side. Now, this piece here, we call this the terrain footprint. Okay. Now, obviously, if you're playing with your pals and you just, you know, you might have your own little house rules where you just, it doesn't matter. He can see them, they can see him, you know, sort of thing. You're not caring about the footprint of the terrain. The way that we play, same way as this is in tournaments, this is the footprint of the terrain blocks line of sight. Okay. So, for example, these Terminators cannot see these Terminators to shoot them, and vice versa, because this blocks the line of sight for them. Okay. But let's just say it's a Space Marine's turn. Okay. In the shooting phase, what can shoot what and how does it work? So the scouts here have free reign upon everything, because this footprint blocks line of sight, but they still can see the Terminator squad. Okay, they still can see the Hellbrute. If these guys were shooting at the Terminator squad and you were making your saves for them, you could make your saves against these guys at the back here because they're behind cover. Okay, now you don't get an armor save. You don't get light cover when you have an armor save of 3+ and you're being hit by weapons that are AP 0. But if you're being hit by a weapon that's AP -1 and you have a 3+ armor save, you can get a cover save. So pretty much from this unit, it'd probably just be the missile launcher if he was firing a crack missile. Okay, but in all honesty, that's probably the better target. But let's say shooting at that crack missile and one got through, you could reduce it by -1 AP because you're taking it on the guy in light cover. And if you fail to save, you have to take the guy off that's in light cover. You can't take the guy from over this side. Okay. Now, these guys can't see the Terminators. Can they see the Hellbrute? Okay, now a lot of us will come along like this and come down and, oh yeah, they can see, yeah, and then start rolling dice for the whole unit. That's not how it's done. Now, so I'm going to get this. We have Mark has a laser pen, so he just clicks it and it just puts a brilliant, perfect straight line, and we can line up to see what's what. But this is just a rough idea to give you this is a rough way of doing it to give you a rough idea. This isn't perfectly straight; it's a little bit bendy, but to give you a rough idea, I line up against his base there, yeah, and then I'm going to move it over so it's up against his base and his base. Okay, so you can see this up against both bases. Now this is relatively straight, but now we can see through that little pocket of window there, the narrow little corridor, we have 3 guys that can see. He's not going to be able to see. He's probably not going to be able to see him. I wouldn't have thought so. This is where the laser comes in perfect, because you can do the laser here and see where the laser goes across and hits him or not. But definitely these 3 guys will be able to see him, to shoot him. Okay, 100%. Now in the Chaos turn, because they've shot at the Hellbrute can, if it remains stationary, can see them. to return fire. The Chaos Marines, the Chaos Terminators, if they stay stationary, they can't see the Marines, but they can see these guys. Okay, I hope that clears up that sort of bit of line of sight. I'm going to move on to scenario 2 now. Right, so in this scenario here, Hellbrut's moved up onto the terrain footprint. Terminators around to this side. Scouts have moved up. These Terminators have sort of just shuffled a better angle. Now, who has line of sight against who? Well, the Terminators can't see anything. Okay, because the line of sight for them, as you can see, it's a little bit bent, but you'll get the idea. So the corner of this footprint terrain, there's no bases inside that corridor. Okay, even though this is bowed a little bit that way, so the Terminator still can't see anyone. The Chaos Terminators, but these Terminators and both the Scouts and the Terminators here can both see the Hellbrute. Why? Because the Hellbrute is actually on the terrain footprint itself. Okay, so it can be seen. Now, just ignore that for a minute. Take that off. So it can be seen. Okay. At the same time, the Hellbrute can see both units. Now, let's just imagine for a second the Hellbrute was placed, something like here. Let's get rid of that. Let's put something like this in here. Okay. If the Hellbrute was here, and let's just pretend this is a unit of Space Marines, Terminators, as well as these 2 units, the Hellbrute would be able to see all 3. And all 3 would be able to see him in return because he's on the footprint. So when you're setting up units, if you set up a new deployment zone like that, okay, he can be seen because he's on the footprint of the terrain. So the best thing to do with him would be to set him up like that. So in order to get a line of sight against him, you'd have to get a unit, something like that, which your opponent is then putting their unit out of the position that they may not want to, just to get a line of sight on him. Alternatively as well, when we go back to this first scenario where the Terminators are over here, the Terminators can't get line of sight. Okay, let's just pretend the Terminators haven't moved. The Chaos Terminators, they can't get line of sight on anything. Ignore the Scouts. So what you'd do in your movement phase is you'd move up into the terrain, onto the terrain footprint. You now have line of sight. As the Chaos Marines, Chaos Space Marine Terminators have line of sight against the normal Terminators, and they have line of sight against you now. Of course, then because they're infantry, they can charge through that. Okay, whereas this lad, if this lad was over here, he would not be able to charge through this piece of terrain. He would have to go round. Okay, because he's not infantry. Same if he was Space Marine bikes or Thunderwolf cavalry or something that's mounted, they would have to go round. They can't go through the terrain, whether it's a wall like this, whether it's a wall like that, a ruined building, a wall, a crate, something like that, they'd have to go round. So infantry are quite handy in that sort of way, for charging through the terrain. But let's say they charged in, okay, a mighty massive charge. You can't put him up there, okay, he can't go up there, but he has to go base to base. These guys will then pile in. Whoever wins from here, like if the Terminators killed normal Terminators, there's no objective of like, so you can't consolidate onto them. But if I was a Space Marine player, and this was the story here, and I just smashed that Chaos Space Marine Terminator unit, I wouldn't move those. Even if there's an objective here, I wouldn't move those. I'd hold off there, and my next turn then move up into the objective and blast the Hellbrute to get line of sight against him. But the Hellbrute was over here, okay, and it says the Chaos player's turn, and we kill the Chaos Terminators. And there was an objective here. Let's just put the objective over there so we know what we're talking about. And I smash these. I would then consolidate into the objective. So let's be a bit closer. Because then my next turn, I'm on the objective, I'm scoring points straight away. And I can stay there and just shoot the Hellbrute. So that's the general idea of line of sight. I went on to a little bit of talking about infantry through things there. I do apologise. Just so passionate about this game. I hope, you know, I've given you a good idea of line of sight and corridors and stuff like that. But so let me come back to final thoughts. Yeah, so I was starting to waffle away there. Yeah, I hope that's my explanation of the corridors and stuff for line of sight has explained itself to you. But if you are able to get one of those laser pens, it's literally just press a button and it beams a line down across, and you can actually just move it and see who has line of sight against what. When me and Mark are playing, I think it's one of the best things Mark's ever bought in the game. Because every time we're playing, we'll do a line of sight check. Even if Mark's just checking to see if he can get line of sight on stuff, or if I say, look, has he got line of sight? Your guy got line of sight against me, or can I get line of sight on him? It's the handiest tool. It's very, very handy. But anyway, I'm waffling on again. I hope that's helped you guys. If you have any more questions about line of sight, just check them below as well. As any comments below is normal. But I hope that's cleared it up for you. So guys, thank you for watching. Hit the buttons for me. If you want to become a member, buttons below. Until next time, take it easy. Hi and welcome. I'm John, and this is Unique Wargaming. Guys, welcome back. For everyone that's new, this is a special type of video today. I'm going to be talking about line of sight. So for all my regulars here, guys, I feel love. Thank you very much. See you in a minute.